What's up, everybody? Selvin here with another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, brought to you by Inquire Higher, where we promote and support the success of Black students and professionals through multimedia.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, brought to you by Inquire Higher. I'm your host for today, Ashley Quire, and today we have a very special guest. Hashon Milton is here. He is our former 2022 scholarship winner, and I'm so happy to have him on the show to share his story, catch us up on how he's doing in college so far, and really get to know him, his story, his background, and things like that. So without further ado, welcome, Hashon.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here. As you mentioned, I'm Hashon. I'm a current freshman at Carnegie Mellon University studying social and decision sciences. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm also an artist and entrepreneur. Currently making surrealist paintings and sharing my art on social media, and currently working on rebranding my business as well.
Nice. And yes, I definitely want to get more into your business, Creations by Hashon, and things like that. So you kind of jumped ahead a little bit. Usually the first question is, tell me a little bit about yourself. How would you describe yourself? But right off the bat, he's like, this is me, confidence led. I love it. Perfect. So I like to start at the beginning. If you could walk us through, growing up, your childhood, what was your family dynamic like and things like that? Not everyone has the same, background or upbringing. So it's good to get different points of view and stories and things like that. So tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Yeah, growing up, I was surrounded a lot by my family and friends that had a lot of people who were supporting me and were with me during this journey. Growing up as well, I wasn't always sure about what I wanted to do in the future. I had a lot of interest. Of course, I was interested in art growing up. I had a lot of other passions, such as dancing and other creative fields. So I was kind of just exploring and having fun with myself and just figuring out what feels right to me. So growing up, I was just kind of going with the flow, I guess you could say. And I would say that it was about my sophomore year in high school where I sort of saw myself getting deeper into my creativity, where I actually started painting for the first time. And that's kind of where everything with my art and my business kind of started. It was one day in art class, we had kind of like a free period, and I just chose to pick up a canvas and just start painting for the first time. And I actually really fell in love with the process, and I found it really enjoyable. So after that, I just continued pursuing it on my own independently. And throughout the pandemic, I was working on my craft and my skill and just building my work to what it's become today and working on building it even further. And during the pandemic, it's also when I started my business, where I wanted to just find new ways to connect with people through my art and find new ways to be able to share my art with people. Everybody was just stuck at home looking for some entertainment. And I thought that, art is valuable. It's something that can really have an impact on people's lives. So I chose to start my business, start finding new ways to share my work with people. And that progressed into doing in-person events once things opened back up. And as of previously, I've started rebranding my business. And while I'm in school, working with some faculty back in Pittsburgh, which is where Carnegie Mellon is. And yeah, it's just been a lot of exploring growing up. Nothing was ever really set in stone for me. I never really felt like me choosing to pursue art meant that I had to be an artist or that I had to do one specific thing. I'm always just open to trying new things and being open with myself and allowing myself to explore. And that's really how I've gotten to where I am now.
I think it's so important that you have your own business on the side. You're not staying pigeonholed or anything or one track minded as far as your future and where you see that going. And I think that's very important. But I do want to take it back a little bit. I'm curious to hear more about did you grow up in a 2-person household? Were they supportive, or did they kind of want you to, your parents or parents, did they want you to kind of just choose one major and kind of stick with that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So both of my parents, they were very involved in my upbringing, and they were very supportive of the path that I chose to take myself. They never really encouraged me to do one thing or another. They were very open to me just being creative and choosing what it is I want to do. So whether it is, during the college process specifically, I changed my mind a lot of times about what I want to study. I was like, I want to go to art school. No, I don't. I want to study business. I want to study this. So they were just very open to, helping me research and look for different schools that were great for me. And even even before that, allowing me to just explore my different passions. My mom brought me my first art set, and my dad couldn't help me buy art supplies as well. He commissioned a painting for me too, which was very amazing and supportive of them. So yeah, just growing up, I was always very encouraged to just be myself and really just try new things, which has really allowed me to explore the many passions that I like and things that I find interest in.
That's awesome. Hey, kudos to mom and dad. You guys did great, obviously, clearly. That's amazing. That just shows how important like support is. So I know you touched a little bit on your projects that you're working on and your business that you created. I think it's so important to, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but for me, I feel like it's so important nowadays, right, to have like your own business as well as, you know, school if you're still in school, or your job as well. So talk to me a little bit about, you know, your business that you have going on, and how you're, I guess, managing you know, your time management in that area. So yeah.
Yeah, so my business is Creations by Hashon. I launched it in 2020 during the pandemic. I really launched it because I wanted to just do something new with my art. You know, I had these physical paintings. I saw people turning their art into stickers and other products and things like that. So I felt very inspired to just find new ways to get creative with my craft and I guess you could say bring my art to life in new ways. So I started my business in 2020 during the pandemic. I started selling keychains and original paintings, and it wasn't as successful as I had hoped at first. But, you know, of course, I kept going. It's something I was passionate about and something I saw myself doing in the future. So, you know, I just kept going, kept staying strong, and kept working on the business. And as of recently, I kind of went into like, I guess you could say, shutdown mode. I started rebranding my business and kind of really went back to stage one to really think about, you know, what I want this business to be and things like that. And managing it with school and other things like that, I really just think about the fact that my business is like it's my career essentially. Like one day it's going to be like something big that I'm making like a stable income from. So I treat it like that. I give myself time to work on it and time dedicated to making art. And there's actually an Center for Entrepreneurship back at Carnegie Mellon where I've connected with some of the faculty who have been able to help me along the path of rebranding and things like that. So it's just really the main thing that has helped me manage my time when it comes to school, extracurriculars, my business, and just finding time for it all is just giving value and importance to each of the things in my life. Because when I do that, it gives it a place in my day and in my schedule so that I'm not really missing out on it and not feeling like, you know, I'm not giving it enough time or energy. And that makes me feel very fulfilled and like I'm really making some great progress with what it is that I'm doing.
So many important things that I want to touch on there. Okay, perfect. So I love that you did not completely give up on your business, right? I love that you kind of took a step back, or maybe even several steps back, and kind of rebranded and really put your energy and time back into something that you're looking to grow long term, right? So essentially you're playing checkers and chess, which I think is very smart, especially being a freshman in college. Definitely keep that going. And you're investing in your future, right? So if this is something that grows into something that, you know, sustains you financially solely in the future, go for it. I love that. Yes. Awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So tell me a little bit about your experience at Carnegie Mellon University. I think it's very important to hear sometimes from different students, right? Not everyone's the same. I have to repeat that, right? We're not an anomaly. We all have different experiences. So for you at your specific college, university, where do you find support?
So at Carnegie Mellon, I find support in my friends and the faculty. So everybody there is just very welcoming. I remember my first day when I moved in, there was just like a bunch of staff outside, you know, with the red moving cars. And they were just helping all the freshmen navigate everywhere. And there were a bunch of different events during orientation week. And it was just all very welcoming. And that's where I was able to find some of my closest friends that I've made at college so far. And yeah, my experience has really been great. I've been able to connect with people. I've been able to learn new things about myself, get familiar with the field that I'm studying. And and also kind of just like take a step back and think about how I plan to use this degree and use this field in my future and how it really applies to different areas of my life. CMU is such a diverse school. I went there. I applied for their humanities school, and I ended up studying a lot more than I'm learning about sciences and psychology and decision making and things like that. And I'm finding a lot of connections with that with my art, my creative fields. And I learned that I'm not really restricted to just studying that one thing. It's a very open school. I have choices to take classes in different subjects, I guess you could say, in different creative topics, which is very amazing. Something that I'm thankful for. There's a lot of support at the school, which really helps me progress along this journey and get comfortable with what it is that I'm doing.
That's awesome. I love the support all around. It sounds like you're continuing to get the support that you need to be successful. I love that. All right,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you kind of touched on this a little bit in your application for the scholarship, but I'm curious to know, like, why did you choose your university? I know we mentioned off air that, your parents are really big on, I guess, bringing you to the different colleges and doing campus visits and things like that. But what kind of landed you at this university?
So CMU was actually one of the last schools that I looked at. Prior to finding the school, a lot of the schools on my list were very expensive, and my college counselor advised me to look at CMU because it's a need-based school, and they give a really generous amount of financial aid. So I looked at it, and at first I was kind of just like, and I wasn't really into it. I was kind of set on the other schools I had in mind, but I did a little bit more research on it and found how like interdisciplinary the learning experience is there, and how there's just so many opportunities to explore. So I kind of I gave it a chance. I looked into the school. I looked into the different programs that they had, and I kind of felt like it would be a great school. It would be a great school to apply to and go to. And so I applied, and I actually applied early decision too, which was I believe in like January, which meant that if I applied and got in, I had to go. And I really felt like at first applying, I was kind of like iffy on it because I was like, something inside me was telling me that like, this is a great school for me. There's the arts, there's the sciences, there's the entrepreneurship, there's everything that I'm interested in. But I was also just like, it all kind of happened so fast for me. My counselor was like, hey, you should look at this school. Some of your schools are really expensive. It might be good to check the school out and add it to your list. And I was kind of just like, I don't really know. But then I ended up doing it. And I'm thankful that I did it because I'm really having a great time at the school. I'm enjoying myself. I'm finding a lot of different opportunities at the school and different ways to discover parts of myself. So yeah, that's really how applying to the school and discovering it came about for me.
Sounds like you had a really good college counselor in high school.
Yeah.
Shout out to
they
them.
Were great.
I don't know who they are, but shout out to them. That's great that they actually listened to you, right? And they really understood your full story, what you're looking for, as well as, finances are important, right? We don't want to rack up a bunch of student debt. I'm not raising my hand.
They were also in alumni of CMU, so they had a lot of experience with the school as well. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. A lot of encouraging, and you should check it out. You should go here. You should look at it. But I'm thankful that I did.
Yeah, it sounds like it's working out so well for you. So your college counselor was clearly someone who, opened doors for you. Was there anyone else along your journey to now who kind of opened doors for you?
I feel like just the overall support and people around me who I had just encouraging me to keep going, keep doing what I'm doing are those who truly open the doors for me because, it takes me to really be disciplined and to really be hardworking at what it is that I'm doing. And, just having that support and those people around me telling me to keep going, that I'm doing great and that everything is going to pay off in the future. That's very helpful. It's very encouraging in the moment and in the process with everything going on and everything that I'm managing.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing, your background and how you're doing right now in school and a little bit about your university. Now it's time to get into the fun question. Let's see. Should I just throw one at you? I'm joking. I won't throw one at you. These are pre-selected. We don't throw anyone under the bus here. All right. So what's one thing that you look at in a completely different way as an adult?
One thing, spending money.
Ooh.
I feel like being an adult and having to be responsible for my own money and, just having to manage it on my own now, I'm a lot more cautious with how I spend it and the things that I buy. So it's like I find myself, thinking about, oh, I want to buy this, but then I look at my bank account and I'm like, do I really need to? And it's just like, it's a lot, going into adulthood and having to manage a lot of these things on my own and just like being exposed to like the reality of things. I guess you could say it's brought a lot to my attention and a lot to just like how the world itself works and how adulthood is going to look like for me.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Adulting is great, especially when it comes to finances. Oh man.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all still adulting. It's tough, but yeah, I could definitely say that as well. Growing up, like as an adult, you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't, spend, $20 on whatever. And you're like, it's just a little bit of money, but those dollars add up. And
they do.
With inflation these days, I'm just saying,
yeah,
every dollar counts. So
it does.
I get it. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I'm so happy that you're here. As always, if you need anything, you can let us know, reach out. That's part of the scholarship award that you have. It's for a lifetime. So definitely continue to keep in contact. And I look forward to hearing your story in a couple more years, where you're at, what you're doing, and whatnot. So thank you so much for everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast. Thank you so much, Hashon. And we will see you next time. All right. Until next time. Bye.